You know, the depressing regime of insecurity in the northern part of our country has precipitated a high-stake meeting amongst the governors of the North. The Northern chief executives believe that a concerted effort against terror is the way out. The Kaduna meeting had the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, in attendance. The consensus among the governors is to ask the National Assembly to speed up action on the strident call for the institution of state police. Let's share the story by TVC News' Lupa Asom with you. Let's go there first.
In a major move to tackle rising insecurity, the Northern Governors Forum on Traditional Rulers convened in Kaduna to address escalating security challenges and other critical regional concerns.
A coordinated strategy encompassing investment in education, agriculture, youth employment, and local enterprise must be urgently devised. Equally, traditional institutions must be empowered to play stronger roles in intelligence gathering and community policing. Posterity will not forgive inaction. Let us lead with courage, compassion, and commitment to real change. I must not conclude this welcome address without commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, G7, for his unwavering commitment to addressing the infrastructural deficit in northern Nigeria.
The meeting quickly moved into a closed-door session, culminating in a communique that revealed the governor's strong demand for state police. They also urged the National Assembly to fast-track the necessary legal framework.
The resurgence of Boko Haram activities in some parts of the northeast and the outbreak of violent killings in the north central call for immediate review of strategies and greater synergy between the federal, state, and local security architecture. The forum also reiterated its support for the creation of state police and called on the National Assembly to expedite action on the enactment of the legal framework for its takeoff.
The governors also plan to collaborate with the Nigerian Governors Forum to bolster federal security agencies on key issues, including monitoring of porous borders.
The forum also resolved to strengthen peculiar local initiatives in combating all forms of security challenges. The forum also resolved to urgently set up interstate platforms to coordinate surveillance on our joint borders.
The leaders praised President Tinubu's efforts, but stressed the need for local solutions, including grassroots security initiatives. However, the governor's resolution did not provide a clear timeline for the execution of these measures. But with the next meeting set for August, all eyes are on whether these resolutions will translate into actions. For now, residents of the North are hopeful that this marks a turning point in the region's security. Lupe Asom, TVC News, Kaduna.
Thank you, Lupe. Biko, it is said that when men and mountains meet, great things are done.
Yes, and it has reached a point now that it's inevitable for the northern governors and Mr. President to do something about insecurity in the region.
Yeah.
The insecurity in the north, especially the northwest, especially the northwest, the banditry is a national shame.
Oh, yeah.
And I've demanded that we should actually have a national summit where northern leaders, traditional rulers, and all security stakeholders would come and make suggestions. How do we go about this? Northern leaders, especially from the northwest, they should come out freely and express their minds about how to solve this problem. You can't keep blaming the federal government for insecurity in your domain. That's why I supported the former NHI ESMA professor, this Kasinama, what was his name? That professor. You know, because he came and he said, look, expecting Bola Tinubu to solve security problem for the North is a waste of time. As I've said on this forum before, security is local.
Oh, yeah. Anywhere
Just
on the
like
planet.
politics is local, security is local. Instead of focusing so much on grabbing political power, instead of focusing so much on how many appointments our children get, focus on solving this problem.
Securing lives.
Securing lives.
Yeah.
It is people who have lives that will be able to live
And plan.
yes, and plan for the future.
Yeah.
That will even be able to enjoy the appointments that you are
The
looking
games,
for.
Yeah.
So that should be the focus. And there are brilliant people in northern Nigeria who can come up with ideas that if we run with those ideas, we will solve these problems.
Yeah.
Especially, again, I'm talking about the Northwest. There is no reason in the world for the level of banditry happening in the Northwest to continue. To me, it's a personal shame. I was born in the Northwest. I'm ashamed at the level of banditry in the Northwest. I've gone out to do documentaries. I've interviewed bandits. And I know that this is a problem that can be solved. But how much political will do we have to solve this problem?
Essentially because the problems are man-made, are made by us.
See, in 2018 or so, when I interviewed bandits in Shimfida, Jibia local government of Katsina State,
Okay.
they said that whenever their cattle were rustled and they reported to the police would turn the accuser to victim. And they were extorting money from them. So a lot of them who had no plan to take to banditry were frustrated, were pushed into banditry by the injustice that was going on at that time.
Man-made.
I interviewed them, bandits. So these problems are there for us to solve. Look at what is happening in the Northeast. Suddenly, Boko Haram has gained ascendancy again. Suddenly, Boko Haram has started overrunning military bases again. Something that stopped happening a long time ago. They went to Bunigeri, that's the hometown of the governor. They sacked the military base that was there.
Audacious.
In Damboa. They went to Damboa, attacked the military base, fought our troops for hours. From like 11 p.m. to like 5 a.m., they were still fighting our troops. And they are looting weapons. The more they loot weapons, the stronger they become.
Yeah.
But right now, I know that the military, they are taking steps to address this problem. Boko Haram gaining ascendancy is a matter of national shame because we thought that, look, they could no longer do the sort of things they were doing in 2014.
Give us sleepless nights.
Now, do you know how many troops they've killed between October and March? A lot of those things don't get reported. We don't even want them to gain traction. But let's find a solution. I'm happy now because the governor of Borno State claimed that the Northeast was being neglected. There was no need to abuse him for saying that. He had his reason. And the feeling was that, okay, we need troops in the Northwest since we have achieved some level of stability in the Northeast. But that has backfired. So now, we are bringing in more weapons, we are bringing in more troops to the Northeast. Because even soldiers told me, when I went to Borno State about 3 weeks ago, that we now need more troops, we now need more weapons. So, I'm happy that the Chief of Army Staff even went to Maiduguri, stayed there for like 4 days. That means he's embarrassed by what is happening and he wants a solution.
Yeah.
And they've also taken a big step by replacing the theater commander with General Abdul Salam, who did a tremendous job in Plateau State. Remember, General Abdul Salam went to Plateau State, he stabilized things. Then he was transferred to Jaji. And shortly after that, we started seeing these people killing people again. Whereas this was a general that even the people of Plateau State organized a send forth, thanking him for the way
his intervention.
Yes, he stabilized Plateau. All of those killings that were happening for a whole year, we were not receiving those reports. But suddenly again, these guys are back. Now they've taken him. He was posted to Jaji to train officers. Now they've taken him, being somebody who had also worked in that area before. He had worked in Monguno before. They've taken him to that place, and we expect changes now because he's a battle-tested and no-nonsense general, a no-nonsense commander. We were told that there was a lot of complacency on the part of some commanders. We want to see commanders take their duties seriously. And commanders who are not ready to take their duties seriously in the Northeast or anywhere for that matter, they should be removed. Put people who are ready to do the job. Complacency is what the enemy exploits. So we need now to sit up and do the needful.
Adewale, so the chief executives have met. So it means they know they can call the bluff of these merchants of death.
I'm happy that they were able to at least come together to see this as a challenge. Because instead of rallying around, having alliances, holding meetings on 2027, there are fundamental issues facing the northern region that I think it's better to rally around against those issues. I think the North faces 4 major problems, in my own opinion.
Okay.
The first one is namely deficit in political leadership. Right. Visionary leaders, people who understand the problems, people who are selfless.
Leaders who are rallying points.
Yes, who are rallying points, who are selfless, who are transparent, who are not corrupt, who genuinely are committed to the interests of their people. We've had people like Aminu Kano, we had people like Amadou Bello, who lived for their people.
Abubakar Rema, Balarabe
Musa. So then I think the second one is poverty. The third one is terrorism and extremism. The fourth one is intra and inter-ethnic and religious conflict. It is, years back, no one, look at what is going on in the North. We are talking about 1 out of 3 children are out of school. About 10.2 million primary school children are out of school. About 8.1 million drop out of GSS. About 12.4 million have no access to education at all. That means they can't even,
as we speak,
they can't even use this to write zero. This under the this. So when you have that kind of situation, you are creating a stagnant water for violence, for extremism, for vengeance, for hate, for a caste system that at the end of the day will become monsters that will haunt the operators of the system. And I have not seen a genuine commitment to resolving this problem. Our leaders are interested in, we want to be the to put this power. You have ruled this country since 1960 for 46 good years, military and civilian. What have you done for your people? For your people, what have you done for your people? In terms of education, in terms of access to health, in terms of roads, so this is a very big challenge. And the fact that they could go on like that, but we can see the consequences now. Apart from Boko Haram, that split into ISWAP, you have Ansaru, you have Lakura, in Sokoto and Kebbi State, Lakurawa, and these people are linked up.
One in Kwara.
Yes. So and these are linked up, and these are very young men. Bello Togi is about 31 years old. 21, 16, 17 years. The vibrant population are engaged in terrorism. When the Borno State government was talking about how many people that have been rehabilitated, members of Boko Haram, I look at the number. My God, look at this huge number.
Yes.
So
how did they manage to even recruit them?
To recruit them in the first place. So it's something that is going to blow up in the face of our northern leaders. If they don't take, you can't wait all the time for
the essence.
Yeah, you can't wait all the time for the federal government. Of course, you are in control of federal government for so many years. Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Defense, Minister of Education. Yeah. These are strategic positions you have handled for so many years. So they need to handle it in their own interest.
So it's a time bomb.
It's a time bomb.
That number of people, young people working for Boko Haram.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's the same way that these uneducated, uncatered for young people have been recruited as bandits.
Yes.
Bello Tuji and the rest of them, they have recruited so many young people because the people, those young people feel neglected.
Yeah. Yes.
No shelter,
direction,
no education, they have nowhere to go to. So, and they can see young people like Bello Tuji making money, young people like Dogo Gide making money. So, why won't they join? Where the void that the government created is what these people
are exploiting.
They will always find food soldiers.
Yeah.
Given the situation that we find ourselves in the north. Look at how many schools now, because of insecurity, a lot of the schools have been shut.
Yeah.
One of the enablers of out-of-school children syndrome is the fact that in some far-flung communities, there are no schools. The schools have been forced to close because of insecurity. So there is a need to address all of these issues one after. Security now is a much bigger problem in the north that must be tackled.
Yeah.
Rather than simply focus on how we can grab power.
Yeah.
When you grab the power, do you really use it for your people? You know, some of the people shouting they want to grab power, they need this. Some of them can't win their wards.
Yeah.
They can't win even their community. So there's a need to address that. And then I'm excited. I don't know if you are going to ask us this state police thing. You know, I thought that was what I thought you were even going to ask him. I'm excited that they come up with that. The same people who opposed state police in the beginning. It's a good thing now that more and more of such people
are becoming
saying that it's inevitable.
Okay.
They are saying that it's inevitable.
All right, folks. Let the